Newswatch.
We talk to students about staying safe when meeting someone new for the first time.
Plus, drunk driving is on the decline, but drugged driving is on the rise.
And in sports, the Ohio baseball team kicked off their season with their annual Ren Fest. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens. This is Newswatch.
The Ohio University Police sent out a message to students today. Good evening, I'm Carly Bell.
And I'm Mackenzie Pyatt. Thanks for joining us. Ohio University Police Chief Andrew Powers released a message regarding information about the recent sexual assault reports on campus.
2 sexual assaults were reported this weekend, which brings the total to 9 this semester. Powers said in every case, the suspect was known to the victim and the encounter began as consensual.
He also stated that the 2 of the incidents occurred during meetups arranged through Tinder, and most of the offenses involved alcohol consumption. Today, we went to Court Street and talked to Ohio University students about what it takes for them to agree to be alone with someone they just met online or in person.
You need to be in a safe place, public setting, other people around you, preferably friends from both sides. It just limits potential poor outcomes.
Well, I think it would have to be the girl's decision. I think if she invited you back to her place or invited you somewhere herself, then that's what it would take from my point of view. I think it's not really up to the guy, at least to be respectful about it.
For me to be alone with them in the bar, probably not a whole lot. For me to be alone with them in maybe a less social setting, I want to know the person pretty well. I don't like to take chances.
I think too, especially on Tinder, isn't the whole point that you're hot? So it's all based on physical and sexual attraction. So you're automatically inviting yourself to be in a situation that you might be uncomfortable with because it's all based on sexuality and nothing emotional or concrete.
I would never hang out with anybody off Tinder. I think it's kind of funny app, but I just wouldn't do it.
Ohio University is holding a campus conversation to talk about sexual misconduct tonight in Walter Hall. The Ohio House passed a bill today that will limit public employers' use of criminal background checks. The bill prohibits employers from asking for an applicant's criminal history until the person has been selected for the position. The bill still allows public employers to reject applicants because of their criminal histories, but the bill says employers must first consider several factors. These include nature of the crime, how it's related to the job applied for, and the applicant's record since being out of prison. WOUB spoke with the Athens County Job and Family Services today about their support for the fair hiring policy.
Many times it's their record, and in many instances that crime is minor or happened decades ago or has absolutely nothing to do with the job in question, but because of a policy where it's checked and employers can more easily weed them out before even giving them the opportunity. But with that box now being removed, these people now have a chance to earn a living.
And we'll be continuing to follow the story. Visit our website at woub.org for more information.
The Ohio Senate Health Committee clears a bill today that seeks to expand access for the treatment of sexually transmitted diseases. If signed into law, doctors at clinics like the Hudson Health Center on Ohio University's campus would be allowed to prescribe medication to their patients' partners without first examining them. Ohio's rate of reported gonorrhea and chlamydia is higher than the national average. Most cases occur among ages 15 to 24. Now to Nelsonville. This man allegedly stole from an Asheville bank, and then police say he put pictures of the money he stole on social media. In the photo, Joe Mogan is seen shoving a wad of cash into his mouth. Both Mogan and Ashley Dubois are in custody in Pickaway County. They are being charged with the August robbery of the Savings Bank in Asheville. Nelsonville police also believe Mogan and Dubois are connected to the Citizens Bank robbery earlier this month.
Good evening from the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Kaylee Shaw. Right now in Athens, 64 degrees. Haven't seen much of the sun today with overcast throughout the day. Winds north 14 miles per hour with gusts up to 18 miles per hour possible this afternoon. Across the region, temperatures are in the mid-60s to lower 60s, 63 in Columbus, 64 Marietta, 65 in Ripley, and overnight temperatures are going to get a bit cooler into the 50s, 53 Columbus, 52 Jackson, and 49 in Cambridge. We're going to stay mostly cloudy tonight, and our 7-day forecast coming up later, you'll see that we are going to start having these more fall-like temperatures into the 7-day.
Thanks, Kaylee. Now, some small businesses may experience a tax increase. Ohio lawmakers are continuing to fix a budget that imposes unintended tax increase. For the 2-year state budget, the budget will allow small business owners to deduct up to 75% of their first $250,000 income this year. A 3% flat tax will also be applied for both years. Changes to this bill are still being finalized.
The government may no longer be able to keep property like cars or money after law enforcement sees them. A bill was introduced to the state legislature today to tighten up on property the government can keep from criminal investigations. The bill will set standards on when government can keep property. Ohio's prison director is being recognized with a national award for innovation. Gary Moore is set to receive the 2015 Tom Clements Innovation Award this week. Tom Clements was killed at his doorstep in 2013 by a former inmate. Moore was a close friend of Clements and has worked in corrections for 41 years. Moore leads efforts to reduce Ohio's inmate population by improving ex-offenders' transition back into society. One man's message has his neighbors upset.
Plus, a girl with a rare condition learns to embrace herself. And John McCain reacts to Russian airstrikes on Syria. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
I decided to do a planned gift because I want to ensure that PBS will be around for my grandchildren and hopefully great-grandchildren. I would hope that others, when doing their estate planning, would include their PBS station. My PBS station is part of my community. That's something I really value.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home. My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
A Houston man is spray painting racist terms on the fence surrounding his home, but he insists he has a good reason to do so. Robert Arnold reports.
This is called freedom of speech, and it's supposed to be offensive.
Donald Burns readily admits he's the one who spray painted white power and KKK on the fence surrounding his southeast Houston home, which is in the middle of a predominantly African-American neighborhood.
This is here because this is the reaction that I want.
Burns says he has been unfairly targeted by deed restriction violations from the area's civic club and believes city council and police are in cahoots with that group. He says he painted the signs only to draw attention to his plight, but insists it's not racism.
It has nothing to do with race. It has a problem with black property owners and what they've got away with. It does have something to do with race.
That bit of tortured logic is hard for many in the neighborhood to follow.
It's very offensive. If you feel a certain way, you don't have to go and write all this on your fence because you have kids walking by here from school looking at this stuff.
What he's doing is dangerous because many of our young people in this community have a problem with that signage. And he's creating a very volatile situation.
To be fair, some in the area support Burns.
He's not actually speaking about KKK and white folks and black folks. Okay. He's speaking about a lot of illegal doing going on in this neighborhood.
After our interview, Burns did paint over the KKK sign, saying that was only meant to show the type of tactics he felt were being used against him. He says he has an African-American girlfriend and even took off his shirt to prove he's not a racist.
Since 1977, I've been in and out of your prisons. You don't see no marks of that hate on me.
Thanks, Robert. Community leaders say they hope to convince Burns to remove all of the graffiti.
And now a story of a young woman in Hong Kong. She suffers from a rare genetic condition that makes her skin red and raw. Her appearance has made her a target, and cyberbullies almost drove her to the brink of suicide. Now she's trying to educate others about the challenges of being different. Christy Lou Stout has more.
Abandoned at birth, bullied at school, and regularly abused as an adult, 22-year-old Mui Thomas has a rare condition called harlequin ichthyosis. Her skin sheds much faster than normal skin. She has no control over her body temperature, and she has arthritis. But Mui is determined not to let that hold her back, taking inspiration from her father's love of rugby to become a fully qualified referee.
When I'm on the pitch, I'm just a referee in the middle. Nobody actually cares whether I look different or not. They only care if I make a wrong decision. And I love that. I love the fact that in some way, I'm anonymous.
Mui is also giving back by volunteering to teach disabled people to sail, working at a special needs school, and giving motivational talks.
When I was a child, I once said, "Mummy, if there's one thing that I want for Christmas, it is to have ordinary skin."
Mui's experience of cyberbullying is the focus of her talks, where she relives the most painful time of her life to try to help others going through the same thing.
The cyberbullies, they made comments like, "Oh, you shouldn't be alive, you should have been dead, nobody loves you, nobody wants you." And when you're already a teenager struggling with your self-image, that really hurts. And yeah, I wanted to jump off and commit suicide.
Even Mui's adoptive parents, Tina and Roger, who took her home when they were hospital volunteers, say they often face abuse themselves.
We had Mui in my arms, and a woman came up to me and she said, "You burned your child, you're a bad mother," and she spat in my face. I just walked on because I didn't want to make a scene, cause a scene for Mui. I knew that she would feel that it had to do with her, and I didn't want her to feel that.
My parents, they were there when I was in my deepest, darkest moments, and I'm so grateful for that.
Good. Mui is thought to be the 4th oldest person in the world living with her condition. The oldest is currently 31, but her uncertain future is certainly not slowing her down.
Thanks, Christy. A senior U.S. official tells CNN that Russia has conducted its first airstrike inside Syria near the city of Homs. CNN could not independently verify this footage in a vote earlier today. Russia's parliament gave President Vladimir Putin approval to take military action in Syria. The Kremlin's chief of staff says Syrian President Bashar al-Assad had asked for Russia's help to fight ISIS. Senator John McCain says the strikes could have easily been avoided.
Our hearts go out to those who are victims
and have had to flee their homeland in this. We see these refugees, and it breaks our heart when we see a little baby's body washed up on the beach. It didn't have to happen. It didn't have to happen. Everybody knows that when the President of the United States said that we'd drawn a red line in Syria and didn't do it, it had a profound effect on the Middle East.
Others joined McCain in his disappointment. Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas called the Russian a, quote, naked effort to protect another and crush Syrian opposition forces.
And on Wall Street today, stocks gain across the board. The definition of driving under the influence is changing. That story is still ahead.
Fall is finally here. Coming up, a wet weekend and cooler temperatures when Newswatch returns.
I support one student in college with a scholarship. Just the way I want to pass on a legacy of education. I would like to pass PBS on to the next generation. I like to think that PBS is concerned with our soul. If your soul is in the right place, you're in giving back.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home. My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open. You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Welcome back to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Kaylee Shaw. Right now in Athens, 64 degrees. We haven't seen the sun much today due to overcast, and winds are north 14 miles per hour with gusts up to 18 miles per hour. Temperatures right now across the region in the mid to lower 60s, 63 in Ironton, 65 Ripley, and 64 in Athens and Marietta. We are going to cool down as the night goes on, and our high today was 65, and we are actually a little bit below average for this time of year, but we are seeing much more fall-like temperatures this week. Temperatures overnight in the 50s, 54 in Ironton and 54 Ripley and Marietta, and we are going to stay mostly cloudy throughout the night with just about a 20% chance of some showers due to a low pressure in the region. And temperatures for tomorrow going to be much like today, mid 60s to lower 60s, 64 64 in Jackson and Ironton, and 64 Marietta, 62 New Martinsville. Like I said, very much like today, overcast skies. We may have a bit of a break in clouds for tomorrow. And here is our precipcast showing you that low pressure, bringing us the overcast and the slight chances for some rain. And down in the south, you can see Hurricane Joaquin. We are tracking this right now. It's uncertain on its path. Some say it may go out into the Atlantic, but we do have a possibility of it coming to make landfall later this week. We'll have more on that with some slight chances for some rain and winds along with that. And for tomorrow night, much like tonight, like I said, tonight though, 51 for our low, mostly cloudy skies, and we are feeling very much like fall. Temperatures going to stay in the 50s across the region tonight as well. Here's a look at tomorrow. Our high 64, again, much like today, overcast and cloudy skies. Cool down for most of the rest of the week. Very fall-like temperatures. Here's our 7-day forecast. You'll see fall is definitely here for the start of October. 60 for our high Friday and only 59 for our high on Saturday, with a rainy weekend ahead of us. And we'll take it back to you, Mackenzie.
Thanks, Kaylee. The number of people driving under the influence of drugs is on the rise, while drunk driving is on the decline. That's according to a new study released by the Governor's Highway Safety Association. 40% of fatally injured drivers tested positive for drugs in 2013. That covers everything from meth to blood pressure medication. In about a third of the cases, marijuana was detected. 23 states permit medical marijuana, 4 others, and the District of Columbia have legalized its recreational use.
I'm Justin Holbrook. Tonight, the St. Louis Cardinals are trying to clinch their 3rd straight NL Central Championship when they take on the Pirates at PNC Park. And last year, Ohio's baseball team won their first MAC title and NCAA automatic bid since 1997. So keep it here to find out how the team kicked off their new season tonight. And stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
My granddaughter is named June Elizabeth, but I call her Junebug. My hope is to teach her about kindness and about the love of animals and nature. I want Junebug to have the same opportunities I had by watching PBS. My husband and I feel so strongly about our PBS station that we've included them in our estate plan. PBS is part of our values, and we want to pass it on to the next generation.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home. My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like we're having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Welcome back. I'm Justin Holbrook. Major League Baseball only has 4 more days left in the regular season after tonight, but for Ohio, the baseball season is just getting started. Later on the show, we're going to have Danny Dean live at Bob Wren Stadium for the Bobcats because they have their annual Wren Fest. But right now, we're going to go ahead and move on to Major League Baseball. Now let's switch gears from college to the majors. The St. Louis Cardinals are only one game away from clinching the NL Central. The St. Louis Cardinals had a chance earlier this afternoon in Game 1 of their doubleheader with the Pirates, but they fell 8-2. First pitch for Game 2 is less than 15 minutes away. Now, two more teams playing in a doubleheader today are the Cleveland Indians and Minnesota Twins. The Indians are currently losing right now in the bottom of the 8th, 6-1. But instead of having a magic number to get in the playoffs, the Indians have a tragic number. That means any combination of 2 Cleveland losses or 2 Houston wins could eliminate them from the chase for the second place in the AL wildcard spot. Plus, the Indians will be without Michael Brantley for the rest of the regular season after the left fielder injured his shoulder trying to make a diving catch last week. And the Ohio volleyball team hits the road for the first time in MAC play when the Bobcats take on some East Division competition in Kent State. Ohio has been rolling as of late. The Bobcats come into this match against the Golden Flashes with 5 straight wins. This will be Ohio's 3rd game in the MAC this year as they beat Bowling Green and the Miami Redhawks this past weekend. And Derrick Rose is injured yet again. Yesterday, the Bulls' 2008 first overall pick suffered an orbital fracture after being elbowed in the face in the team's first day of camp. Over the past 4 years, Rose has had 7 injuries, and it's kept him out for a long time. It's forced him to miss 2/3 of his team's games. Now, with the most recent injury, Rose will be out for 2 weeks, likely to return for the beginning of the season. And his return is key because they're going to take on the Cleveland Cavaliers on October 27th, so the season's less than a month away, and he'll be ready to go for that. Now, let's turn our attention to the gridiron and focus on some high school football. Several teams in our coverage area are ranked in the latest AP polls. In Division II, the undefeated Logan Chieftains are ranked 8th, while Zane Trace comes in at 4th in Division V. Over in the MVL, the Maysville Panthers are ranked 15th in Division IV, and they have a big game this week coming up against Philo. And in Division VII, the Trumbull Tomcats are placed at 13th after winning their last 4 games. And I'm Justin Holbrook, and that's all the sports that we have for right now. So let's go back to Kaylee for one last look at the weather.
Tonight in Athens, we are going to be very fall-like for our temperatures. You see our 7-day forecast is very much more seasonal than we have seen in the past few weeks. 64 for your high tomorrow and 60 for your high Friday, 59 Saturday. We are going to have a good chance for some showers this weekend. Temperatures on Friday night getting a bit cooler at 48 degrees, and like I said, very fall-like 7-day forecast tonight and into the 60s next week as well. And keep an eye out for Hurricane Joaquin as the track may go towards the U.S. and we could see some effects from Hurricane Joaquin. 1 to 2 inches in our area could be expected, as well as some high winds. But right now, here's your 7-day and fall-like temperatures with a rainy weekend, and I'll take it back to you guys.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Mackenzie Pyatt.
And I'm Carly Bell. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime online at woub.org. Have a great night.
I decided to do a planned gift because I want to ensure that PBS will be around for my grandchildren and hopefully great-grandchildren. I would hope that others, when doing their estate planning, would include their PBS station. My PBS station is part of my community. That's something I really value.